Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Sayoxy with Triangle Gaming. Today I'm going to be bringing you a mid lane guide for Ryze the Rogue Mage. This will be a pretty basic guide, so we'll take a quick look at his abilities, masteries, runes, and an item build that I use for him. Also at the end I will throw in some gameplay footage, just so y'all can get a quick look at how he plays. So let's go ahead and get into it. So let's go ahead and take a look at his abilities. We'll start off with his passive, Arcane Mastery. When Ryze casts a spell, all of their spells have their cooldown reduced by 1 second. So this is a pretty nice passive. It's pretty self-explanatory. When a spell's on cooldown, if you cast another spell, it will further reduce its cooldown by 1 second. And this will only get better as the game progresses when all your spells are on shorter cooldown. And then we have his Q ability, Overload. Ryze throws a charge of pure energy at an enemy for heavy damage and additional damage based upon Ryze's maximum mana. Ryze also gains passive cooldown reduction. So this ability is your big damage ability, and it is on a fairly short cooldown. And as it says, the higher Ryze's maximum mana is, the more damage it will do. And then we have his W ability, Rune Prison. Ryze traps target enemy unit in a cage of runes, damaging them and preventing them from moving. Also gains bonus damage based on Ryze's maximum mana. So this ability is nice engage or disengage. So for an engage, you can throw this on them and then fire other spells without them being able to do much, especially if they're melee. And also this is a good disengage, especially if your opponent has a good engage. You will want to save this just in case they try to engage on you. Then you can use this ability, root them in place, and get out of there. And Ryze's E ability, Spell Flux. Ryze releases an orb of pure magical power that deals damage and bounces from the initial target up to 5 times. Also gains bonus damage based on Ryze's maximum mana. Targets hit have their magic resistance reduced. So this is a nice ability. It doesn't do too much damage, but its main use is to reduce their target's magic resist, and then allowing your other spells to do more damage. And also, the same as its other abilities, its damage is increased by Ryze's maximum mana. And then there's his ultimate, Desperate Power. Ryze channels immense arcane power. He gains Spell Vamp, and all of his spells deal area of effect damage. So this is a nice ultimate. It's good for small skirmishes, as well as even better for team fights, since all your spells do area of effect damage. Now for your max order, you're going to go ahead and max out your Q first, then your W, and then your E ability. And then of course you will max out your ultimate whenever possible. Alright, so now let's go ahead and take a look at his masteries. As you can see, it's a pretty basic AP build, but let's go ahead and go over it. Got 21 points in offense and 9 points in defense. Put 1 point in double-edged sword for a little bit more damage. 3 points in sorcery for 3.75% cooldown reduction. 1 point in exposed weakness for a little bit more damage. 3 points in mental force for plus 16 ability power at level 18. 1 point in spell weaving, so your basic attacks increase your spell damage. 1 point in arcane mastery for plus 6 ability power. 3 points in executioner to do more damage to low health champions. 1 point in dangerous game, so when you kill a champion it restores 5% missing health and mana. Go ahead and feel free if you want to put this somewhere else. It does help a little because Ryze's range is pretty short, so you're kind of up there and you're most likely going to take a little bit of damage. So this will help you get a little bit of health, have a little bit of sustain. But feel free if you want to go ahead and put an arcane blade. Really they're both not that great for Ryze, but whichever your preference is. Then I got 3 points in Archmage to increase ability power by 5%. 3 points in Devastating Strikes for plus 6% armor and magic penetration, and 1 point in Havoc for plus 3% increased damage. And then for your defensive tree, I got 2 points in Block to reduce the basic attack damage by 2. And then I got 2 points in Enchanted Armor for increased bonus armor and magic resistance by 5%. 1 point in Yielding for some damage reduction. 3 points in Veteran Scars for plus 36 health, and 1 point in Juggernaut for plus 3% maximum health. Now let's go ahead and take a look at his runes. For Quintessences, I use plus 1.5% movement speed for a little bit more mobility. You can also use the 4.95 ability power if you prefer. For Marks, I use the plus 0.87 magic penetration. For Seals, I use plus 1 armor. Another option that it really isn't used that much, but it is an option. You can also go with the scaling health. And then for the Glyphs, I have plus 1.34 magic resist. Alright guys, so now let's go ahead and take a look at the item build. A common start with Ryze is to go ahead and pick up your Boots of Speed along with 4 mana potions, and the reason for this is because the range of his spells is rather short, so it allows you for some more movability and just to get around a little better. And it also helps to have those 4 potions because obviously it matters who you're up against, but most time they will have longer range than you, so this will just help out a little bit. Another startup you can do is go ahead and start off with Sapphire Crystal so you can start building into your Rod of Ages quicker along with 2 potions. Usually only do this if you're comfortable with only 2 potions. And then if you want more sustainability in your lane, you'll go ahead and pick up Crystalline Flask along with 3 health potions, and then of course your Warding Totem. And on your first recall, it's really up to you. You're going to want to get all these items first before you finish building an item. Then there's Catalyst, the Protector, gives you 200 health along with 300 mana. Its passive, which does help in the early game, Valor's Reward. Upon leveling up, restores 150 health and 200 mana over 8 seconds. Another option is to go ahead and get Tear of the Goddess. Gives you 250 mana, but it also gives you plus 6 mana regain per 5 seconds. And then there's passive Mana Charge, gives you plus 4 maximum mana on spellcast or mana expenditure. And then it also gives you plus 1 maximum mana per 8 seconds, with a max of plus 750 mana. And then if you didn't start off with your Boots of Speed, you will want to go ahead and pick those up. And then for your core items, I have Sorcerer's Shoes for the magic penetration, but as always your boot selection does depend on your matchup. Then the first item you will want to get is Rod of Ages. Gives you plus 450 health along with plus 450 mana and 60 ability power. And then its passive, which grants 20 health, 20 mana, and 2 ability power per stack with a max of 200 health, 200 mana, and 20 ability power. And you gain 1 stack per minute. So you want to get this item first, that way you can get those 10 stacks. Then your other core item is Archangel's Staff. Gives you plus 250 mana along with 60 ability power and plus 10 mana regain per 5 seconds. Its passive Insight grants ability power equal to 3% of your maximum mana. And then one of the main reasons you get this is because of its other passive Mana Charge. Grants plus 8 maximum mana with a max of 750 mana for each spell cast, and mana expenditure occurs up to 2 times every 8 seconds. Transforms into Seraph's Embrace at plus 750 mana. If you haven't noticed with his abilities and some of his items, Ryze is heavily dependent on his maximum mana. The higher his maximum mana is, the more damage he does, so this will just further increase his damage. Then for your situational items, if you need a little bit of magic resist, go ahead and pick up Abyssal Scepter. Gives you plus 70 ability power along with 45 magic resist. And then its aura, which reduces the magic resist of nearby enemies by 20. And then we have Banshee's Veil, if you want a little bit more health along with some magic resist. Gives you 450 health, 55 magic resist. And then its passive, which grants a spell shield that blocks the next enemy ability. The shield refreshes after no damage is taken from enemy champions for 40 seconds. And its other passive, which grants 45 health regain per 5 seconds for 10 seconds after taking damage from an enemy champion or when the spell shield breaks. And then if you need a good chunk of armor and no one else has gotten this item yet, go ahead and pick up Frozen Heart. Gives you plus 100 armor along with plus 400 mana, which is nice, and then plus 20 cooldown reduction. And then its aura, which reduces the attack speed of nearby enemies by 15%. Another option, say if someone's already picked up Frozen Heart or you're also wanting some health, is to go ahead and pick up Randuin's Omen. Gives you plus 500 health and 70 armor. And then his passive Cold Steel, when hit by basic attacks, reduces the attacker's attack speed by 10%. Then it has a nice active, which slows the movement speed of nearby enemy units by 35% for 2 seconds. And then if the enemy team is stacking magic resist, go ahead and pick up Void Staff. Gives you plus 70 ability power. And then its passive, magic damage ignores 35% of the target's magic resist. These are your other boot options. Ninja Tabby for Mercury's Treads. Ninja Tabby gives you plus 25 armor, along with his passive, which blocks 10% of damage from basic attacks. And then Mercury Treads gives you plus 25 magic resist. This is also a nice pickup because of its passive Tenacity. Reduces the duration of most CCs. I'm not going to read all those out for you, but most CCs by 35%. Alright guys, so now I got some gameplay footage for y'all to watch, just so y'all can see Ryze in action. Hope you enjoy. Alright everyone, so that's going to go ahead and do it for this guide. If you enjoyed it, go ahead, like, subscribe, and stay tuned to the channel for some more League of Legends guides. Also feel free to leave some comments on ways that we can improve these guides. And if not, thanks for watching, and have a good one.